It is 7:35 on Wake Up. Thanks so much for joining us on this beautiful Wednesday morning, December the 1st. I am joined by Dr. Tom Ryan. He's the director of Loyola's Institute for Ministry at Loyola University of New Orleans. And today we're talking about his Advent reflections and really, Dr. Tom, your reflections for the liturgical year. I'm so excited to talk about this. First of all, good morning.
Good
Thank
morning.
you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. Dive into this. I'm so excited when you sent me an email that you were starting to do this. I said, let's start right now. Do you have it for Advent of this year?
Sure. So just a little background. The liturgical year or liturgy's readings are divided into 3 seasons. So A, B, and C. And so, by the way, Happy New Year.
I know,
Advent
Happy New
started
Year.
on Sunday. So we began liturgical year C this year. And that's for Sunday readings. And so the project that I'm involved with is GIA Publications has a book called Living the Word, and it includes readings for Sundays and holidays, and in each week, there are kind of 2 sections. One is understanding the Word, and the other is reflecting on the Word. And so I'm writing the understanding the Word, and it kind of looks at the historical background, the linguistic background of the readings. And so I write 400 words for each Sunday, and so that's the 3 readings, and we have the psalm response, but I don't write about that. But 400 words on each of the Sunday readings, and try to make sense of those. And so just doing that was a learning experience. Kind of, there's something going on in the lectionary. There's a spirituality of the lectionary that kind of doing some research and praying over the readings, I began to see.
The thing about Advent, I think, is a little bit different than any other part of the liturgical calendar. We almost, as Catholics, have to separate ourselves from the secular world of the busyness, the buying the gifts, the decorating the tree, the baking the cookies, all those fun traditions that we like to do, but also to prepare our hearts and prepare ourselves for the coming of Christ, which is what the season of Christmas is all about on Christmas morning. So how do we prepare ourselves for that?
Well, one thing that I learned and realized is that time is important in Advent, and so I brought my missal with me. But the first Sunday of Advent said the days are coming, So it gets us to think about time. And the other thing is, with the beginning of the liturgical year, that kind of throws us off. New Year should be January 1st, not at the end of November. And so I think what Advent does, it kind of throws us off balance and gets us to try to think about our faith and time in a different way. And so that's one of the things that I've learned. And so a lot of times we think about Christmas and Advent as thinking about the past. So Jesus is coming into the world, which we should do. But Advent also, and the Advent readings also kind of get us to think about, well, what about now? And so it's not only about the past, but trying to get us to think about time in a new way now.
So where can we take a look at these Advent reflections? We've already started. We started on Sundays, so we're into it.
So, absolutely. So my Advent reflections, you're going to have to wait on.
Okay.
I'm writing them now, and they'll be published in book form a year from now.
Oh,
and so you're going to be able to get my Advent reflections a year from now. But you can get Living the Word, published by GIA Publications as a book online from our local Catholic bookstore or wherever you buy your books on faith and spirituality. So that my reflections will be coming out. So
great.
Yep.
Great. So will next Advent be the start of your reflections, or will we be getting them early, like Lent? Will we get your Lenten reflections?
Good.
Time?
So my own written reflections are going to come out beginning in Advent,
okay.
and they'll be for the entire liturgical year A. So you're gonna have to wait on those, but I think that one of the reasons what I was interested in even coming here is just kind of share. This is so interesting. The work that I'm doing in writing about Year A has implications even for now. So.
That's great. Okay, so I know we have to wait quite a while, which is fine, but tell us, how can we, a lot of us are struggling right now when it comes to the holidays. I've talked to a lot of
Right.
people who
Right.
have lost loved ones. This is their first Christmas without maybe their husband or their wife, and they're really, struggling with putting up something as simple as the Christmas tree. How can they really kind of find peace this season
Sure.
and really turn to Christ as we anticipate that day?
Right. So Advent and Christmas are in part about challenge, and maybe we could talk about that at a future time. But they're also about comfort. That some people say, humanity and our bodies and creation, they're not worth it. But Advent and Christmas are saying, no, God became human. God embraces us intimately, and God wouldn't do that if we weren't worth it. So Advent and Christmas are about comfort, and kind of going back to Advent's sense of time. Again, we can think about the past, but it's amazing how many of the readings in Advent are about the present. So, for example, again, I brought my missal with me, but the third week of Advent, the second reading of the third week of Advent is from Philippians, St. Paul's letter to the Philippians, and it doesn't say people rejoiced in the past or you will rejoice. It says rejoice in the Lord always. I'll say it again, rejoice. Your kindness should be known to all, and so St. Paul is addressing us now. And commanding and urging us now to rejoice, and so so the lectionary, the official Catholic document on the lectionary is called the General Introduction to the Lectionary, and it speaks of the Bible as a living and active word. It talks about the history of salvation is contained here and now, and so it's urging us to see the first reading of Advent. It says the days are coming. And in a sense, we're living in those days now. St. Augustine, in his Confessions, says at one point, he says, eternity is now. And so I think one of the things that Advent readings and Advent season and Christmas are about is recognizing that the reign of God is present now. Not fully. There's more to come, but the reign of God is present now, and for us not to just look to the past, but to experience it now. And I think that's what the lectionary is about. That's what the readings in Advent is about. That's what that's what this season is about, and I think that's comforting. I love. I was saying behind you, you have the words "wake up." Well, in a sense, that's what Advent is about: is wake up, recognize God's presence in the world now, and that can be a comfort. That again, the third reading. Have no anxiety in all, but in everything, give thanks to God. What would it be like to live like that? What would it be like to live in that presence?
Absolutely. So we have some time. I know that if we're struggling with Advent, we've had Gary Zimek on. He's a Catholic speaker and author who handles with anxiety, teaches about anxiety and all of that. We have some time if we really haven't gotten that yet. But where can we go, that website one more time, to look at reflections? And do you have any kind of updates that we can get from you as we prepare?
Sure. I'd be happy to come on for future seasons of the liturgical year and share those. But again, GIA Publications, it's the name of the book is called Living the Word, and the Year C volume is out right now. And again, you can get that through Amazon, through your local Catholic bookstore. That's where that is available. And mine is coming out a year from now.
All right. Well, we're talking about a year. It's going to go by quick.
That's right.
So we're going to come back in a year and say, oh my goodness, wow, where did the time go? Dr. Tom Ryan, Director of Loyola's Institute for Ministry at Loyola University of New Orleans. Thank you so much for joining us, and happy Advent to you.
Happy Advent to you. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. Archbishop Hughes joins us right after the break to talk about the next Eucharistic lecture series happening at Notre Dame Seminary. It is 7:45 on Wake Up.